Breaking news! All eyes are on Monday Night Football as the Baltimore Ravens prepare for a showdown that could very well define the tone of their season. But there's something about this game that just feels different. The stakes are high, the injuries are mounting, and some players are under more pressure than ever. Will the Ravens rise to the occasion, or are we in for a repeat of Week 1's heartbreak? But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," to show your purple pride. Now let's get straight into it. With just 6 days left until kickoff, the Baltimore Ravens are set to host the Detroit Lions as 5.5-point favorites under the lights of Monday Night Football. The energy is building, and for good reason. This matchup promises fireworks. But behind the scenes, there's concern. Injuries are starting to pile up at critical positions, and Baltimore's margin for error is shrinking. Kyle Van Noy is officially ruled out for multiple weeks following the Cleveland game, dealing a serious blow to a pass rush that has struggled to find consistency. While that's bad news, there's some relief. Marlon Humphrey, who also suffered an injury in that Cleveland matchup, is currently listed as day-to-day. He could still suit up for the Lions game, depending on how this week goes. Meanwhile, John Harbaugh addressed the curious scratch of Jaire Alexander, confirming it was a healthy scratch and hinting we could see him back in the lineup soon. As for Detroit, they're nursing their own injuries. Star edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson is expected to play, but was noticeably wincing on the sidelines against Chicago. Coach Dan Campbell admitted Hutchinson is sore but feeling all right. Marcus Davenport, another key defensive piece, had to exit the game twice and is day-to-day as well. These injuries on both sides could become game changers. Now let's talk game plan. If the Ravens are going to pull off this win, it starts with shutting down Detroit's run game. That means stopping the dynamic duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, nicknamed Sonic and Knuckles, for their speed and power combo. It's not an impossible task. Green Bay did it in Week 1, limiting Gibbs to 2.1 yards per carry and Montgomery to 2.3. The Lions couldn't do much of anything that day offensively. Baltimore's run defense was once the gold standard, but this year, through just 2 games, they're allowing 111 rushing yards per game, only 17th in the league. And that's despite facing Buffalo, whose run game isn't exactly elite, and Cleveland, whose offense is, well, you saw what they did. Still, there's some good news. They've only given up 3 runs of 10-plus yards, 7th best in the NFL. For this matchup, guys like Roquan Smith, Justin Matabike, and Travis Jones need to play their best football. Trenton Simpson and Tavius Robinson will have to step up in Van Noy's absence. And that brings us to the next critical point: pressure on Jared Goff. If you give Goff a clean pocket, he will make you pay. Last season's divisional round proved that. Against Washington, Goff went 10-for-11 for 137 yards in clean conditions. But when pressured, he completed just 30% of his passes, threw 2 picks, and was completely rattled. Here's the problem: Baltimore's pass rush hasn't been great. A 32% pressure rate, 20th in the league. Just 3 sacks in 2 games, good for 25th. And an average of 2.86 seconds to pressure, again, 25th. That has to change. With Van Noy out, the pressure's on young guys like Mike Green and Odefoa. Someone has to emerge, because Goff is too good to let him sit comfortably in the pocket all night. Offensively, the Ravens need to get Derrick Henry rolling again. His 23-yard game against Cleveland was his worst performance since joining the team. That can't happen again. He only had 11 carries, his lowest since 2020. Jim Schwartz and the Browns clearly made it their mission to stop Henry, and they succeeded. The Lions will try to copy that blueprint, and the Ravens can't let it happen. A balanced offense is the key to unlocking Lamar Jackson's full potential. While Lamar absolutely can win games with his arm, this team is at its best when the ground game is humming. It opens up play action, it wears down defenses, and it gives Lamar space to operate. Get Henry going early, establish the run, and everything else will follow. And don't forget about Detroit's secondary. It's vulnerable. Yes, Brian Branch and DJ Reed are legitimate threats, but outside of them, there are holes to exploit. Aiden Hutchinson is a beast, and he's finally back to form after recovering from a broken leg. But that doesn't mean this defense is airtight. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews have to be ready to attack, and it's up to Todd Monken to find ways to scheme them open. Ultimately, though, this game could come down to the final moments. These are 2 playoff-caliber teams. They won 27 games combined last season. Expect a tight finish. It's going to be about who can make the play, that clutch 3rd down, that key sack, That critical interception or fourth quarter touchdown. Baltimore didn't make those plays against Buffalo in week 1, and it cost them. They can't afford to come up short again, especially with Kansas City looming in week 4. If the Ravens are going to win this game, and win it convincingly, it's going to take more than just one hero. It's going to take a full team effort. But let's narrow in on where this game could truly swing. The red zone, late game execution, and how much of a factor special teams will be in a primetime showdown like this one. Red zone execution has quietly become a deciding factor in too many close games across the league this season. And for Baltimore, it's been inconsistent at best. Drives are being built. There's no question Lamar can move the ball between the 20s, but when the field shrinks, the creativity often seems to disappear. And this isn't just a play calling issue, it's a personnel execution issue. You've got one of the best tight ends in the league in Mark Andrews. You've got a wideout in Zay Flowers who can create separation in small spaces. And with Derrick Henry in the backfield, power should never be a problem near the goal line. So why aren't they punching it in with more authority? It's moments like these, when a team gets down to the 5-yard line on a long drive, crowd surging behind them, that define the mental toughness and focus of a championship caliber team. We've seen the Ravens stall one too many times. Field goals won't beat a team like the Lions, who could put up points in bunches. Ben Johnson's offense can strike quick, and if you're trading 3 for their 7, it's a losing game. That leads us to another critical factor: clock management and late game decision making. Baltimore's collapse against Buffalo in week 1 wasn't just about missed tackles or blown coverages. It was about not being able to make the right decisions when the pressure was highest. A critical fourth down attempt that failed. Poor timeout usage. Defensive miscommunication in the final 2 minutes. These moments compound and come back to haunt teams that don't clean them up fast. This coaching staff, from John Harbaugh down to Todd Monken and Mike McDonald, must be sharp this week. You're going against a Lions team that is gritty, aggressive, and not afraid to roll the dice. Dan Campbell will go for it on fourth down at midfield if he thinks it gives them an edge. Baltimore must be prepared for that. Situational awareness must be tight. No confusion. No late subs. No blown assignments. Now let's shift to something that could very well determine the outcome if this game goes down to the wire: special teams. Justin Tucker has always been the Ravens' closer, and if it comes down to a 55-yarder to win it, there's no one you'd rather have. But kicking alone doesn't cover it. The return game has been spotty, and punt coverage nearly cost them against Cleveland. Jamison Crowder has shown flashes, but ball security in high-pressure moments is everything. You can't afford a muff punt or a blown lane on kickoff coverage against a team like Detroit. And let's talk about the offensive line. This unit will have its hands full. Aiden Hutchinson is one of the most disruptive edge rushers in the league, and with Marcus Davenport potentially missing time, Detroit will likely funnel even more pressure through Hutchinson's side. Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses, if healthy, must be prepared for war in the trenches. Baltimore's interior line also needs to step up to give Lamar time to operate. Pressure from the middle has been a recurring issue, and if the pocket collapses from the inside out, it limits everything this offense is trying to do. That brings us to the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, the face of the franchise, the former MVP who carries both the weight and the hopes of this fan base every time he steps on the field. This is a big moment. The national spotlight, the primetime crowd, the playoff atmosphere. This is when stars shine or fade. Lamar has to be both aggressive and composed. He needs to trust his legs when the play breaks down, but also keep his eyes downfield for big plays that will test Detroit's secondary. And make no mistake, that secondary can be exposed. We mentioned earlier that outside of Brian Branch and DJ Reed, the Lions have vulnerabilities in coverage. Zay Flowers is explosive. Rashad Bateman has had a quiet start, but this could be his breakout opportunity. And you always have the Mark Andrews-Lamar connection, which remains one of the most reliable safety nets in football. But even more importantly, Lamar can't afford turnovers. One bad decision late could be the difference in what promises to be a shootout. The margin is that thin, and that's why Monday night is more than just a regular season game. It's a measuring stick for Lamar, for this coaching staff, for this roster that's built with one goal in mind: a deep playoff run. Lose this game, and you fall behind in an AFC race that's already heating up. Win it, and you gain not just momentum, but belief. Belief that this team can go toe-to-toe with any contender, that they can make the adjustments needed, that the defense can stand tall in crunch time, that the offense can execute with rhythm and consistency, and that when it matters most, the Baltimore Ravens won't just hope someone makes a play, they'll expect it. So Ravens flock, what do you think? Who is the one player you believe needs to step up the most on Monday night to seal the win? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stick around because we've got another breakdown coming your way. Watch the next video right here on the screen.